There are parts of motherhood that just does not feel beautiful. These are the ugly truths that people don't necessarily talk about. But before we go any further, let me preface this by saying I wholeheartedly love my one and only firstborn. I am not complaining, but think of this as a raw, unfiltered, honest, wholesome truth about the journey of motherhood. So, guess what? If you're a first time mom, an expecting mom, or an OG mama, I promise you this video will make you feel seen, make you feel validated, and quite literally builds community in of itself. So, mamas, tap in, pull up and chit chat with me. Grab your tea, your coffee, or a glass of wine, friend, because you're gonna need it. Keep on watching. Motherhood doesn't just change your schedule, it doesn't just rearrange your entire life. Motherhood actually opens wounds you never know were there, especially if in your childhood you were raised by a traumatic parent. Motherhood causes you to heal from your own childhood. Can you believe that? A lot of times we are trying our utmost best not to bring that toxicity or that traumatic experience down to our own children. We're trying to ensure that they do not live a life that you're trying to escape from. And that wholesome feeling can literally trigger you in ways you might not even realize. When we're talking about open wounds, we are realizing that some of the times when our child cries extensively, because yes, they're uncomfortable, yes, they can't talk as yet. Crying is the way they tell us that, hey, I'm feeling all of these emotions at once. What about you as a mom feeling all the emotions at once? Like, you cannot escape it. You cannot run away from it. And then you realize the affection that you are trying to pour on your child, you're trying to love on your child. You realize, I didn't receive all that outpour of love and affection when I was growing up. And then you begin to reflect on what it was like being a child to your parents. And then you begin to internalize that and you introspect and you're like, yeah, this is gonna stop right here, right now with me. Personal case in point, my mother and I, we have the most horrible relationship ever that existed under the planet. The truth is just the truth. And the reason for this is because she parented from a level of traumatic experiences that she herself endured as a child growing up. Oftentimes, when you listen to my mom and she talks about what it was like growing up with my grandma, it was traumatic, it was toxic. And I don't want to say unknowingly, because some of the things that she has done over her lifetime is as a result of that level of trauma that she just didn't know how to express love in the way her children needed to receive it. Now, we can go and blame and cast down and ridicule, but at the same time, what we're looking for is how do we fix this? How do we not make the same mistakes our parents did? How do we not continue this line of generational captivity that's living in the traumatic experiences of parenting? Yeah, it's not cute. And I don't want that for my child. I don't want my child to be in an environment where they are unhappy with their parents. They do not feel comfortable around their parents. The parenting experience is one that they're trying to escape from. That's not what I want for my household. That's not what I want for my kid. That's not what I want for you and your child, wherever you are watching me. So we have to realize that while we are parenting our child, we have to, on the flip side, reparent ourselves. Yeah, we have to reparent ourselves. And that's something that I'm continuing to learn in different elements of the dynamic, which include being patient, being tolerant, being kind, being understanding. Do you know, as young as my kid is, I apologize to him. This little baby don't even understand what I am saying to him. But even at this tender age, I apologize to him because I want him to understand that mommy makes mistakes too. And the way to correct mistakes is by one, acknowledging them, and two, showing remorse, and three, actively trying to change. So, as much as I am pouring into him, I have to acknowledge that I may not always get it right. And that in itself is a corrective measure because, listen, if we're about to talk about it, if you're from the Caribbean, right, and your mom is the OG type of mom. I'm talking about the moms that are in their 60s now. I'm not talking about the young girl mamas that's like 30s and 40s. If your mom was young, you have a different experience than if your mom was older in age. Because the older moms, yeah, they don't play that. Apologizing to the kid, yeah, my mom would never. Those moms, it's a different dynamic with a different generation and how they parent. So just that in of itself adds to the traumatic experience that one will grow up in, depending on the level of trauma that their mother faced and depending on the generation of that mom, because the mindset is completely different. So part of motherhood journey is reparenting yourself. Then, whew, this one, deep breath. This one is truly Yeah, this one is truly going to be something we all struggle with, irrespective of the age of your child, and that is guilt. Feeling guilty about everything. Feeling guilty for pouring into yourself. We're talking about self care. If you get up to do your hair, you feel guilty about it. If you get up to go back to work, your 9 to 5, you feel guilty about it. If you stay home, you feel guilty about it. You begin to feel that truckload of guilt hitting you at 100 miles per hour because you're like, you want to put your best foot out there. You want to do the best that you can by your child, and you do not want to make any mistakes that can traumatize your kid. That's literally what you're running from. But, mama, I just want to encourage you that do not put your life on hold because you had a baby, because you are gonna develop that resentment that you didn't go after the thing. You didn't chase that goal because you quite literally put your whole life on the sidelines because of this child. Now, do not get it twisted. I ain't telling you to be hitting the club and your kid at home unsupervised. That's just reckless parenting. We see all of that going on the news. People have their kids in the back seat of the car and they've gone about their business. I am no way, shape, or form encouraging that on any of my platforms. What I am saying though is do the thing. Follow your dreams because you want your kid to grow up and be like, hey, my mama did that. Yes, ma'am. You want your kid to be proud of the accomplishments that you set out to achieve. You want your life story to be a testament to your child of what is possible if you just believe. Those are the pillars with which you want to pull yourself up out of this guilt feeling. Trust me, you can't escape it, especially as a first time mom, especially if you have no experience to motherhood, especially if this is your first go around of having to take care of your kid. The guilt will consume you. Let's just be honest. It's going to consume you, but you do not want to live there. You do not want to stay there because it will do nothing for you. You want to set a plan, put systems in place so that you can rest assured that even in your absence, your child is well taken care of. They are protected. They are safe. Their needs are being met, even if you are not there 100% of the time. Because don't give up on your dreams because you chose to be a mom. Sometimes we can lose ourselves in motherhood. Sometimes we can forget to take care of us as a person, as a woman, as a human being, as self. You are literally drained by everything you set out to achieve concerning your child. You are prioritizing your child. Everything quite literally shifts for you. Your identity shifts, your body changes, your career, your positions, your priorities, even your friendships. There's all going to be a shift in that dynamic. Why? Because your identity shifted. Before, you were a cutesy single girl. Now you're married. Now you have a baby. Now you are trying to put the pieces together of the puzzle that is your life, that is your new normal. And that can be so mentally draining. When I tell you it feels so overwhelmed, it feels chaotic with so many thoughts floating around your mind. Give yourself grace. If you are a friend to a first time mom, give her grace. Acknowledge the fact that she needs support. When they tell you it takes a village to raise a child, they was not joking. They was not playing around. They was not mincing words to just say some words. It is for real. Sometimes it takes a lot just to ensure that your baby is fed, your baby is clothed, your baby is healthy, because everything quite literally floats around the mother and her mental health and how is she able to show up for the child. Because case in point, the mom, She is pushing the milestones. She's ensuring that the baby's hitting the milestones. Is the baby ready for solids? Is the baby ready for books? Is the baby ready for certain toys at the age, at that development stage? Is the baby sitting up? Is the baby crawling? Is the baby walking? Is the baby talking? All of that depends on the mother and how much she is pouring into the baby's development and doing all the things, making sure he's eating right. Is the baby ready for solids, or they still on milk? What is it? All of that revolves around the mother making sure she can pour into the child for their development. And that requires more than just 24 hours in the day. Sometimes the day is just not enough to get it all done. Can we be honest? Can we be honest? It's not enough. Sometimes there isn't enough hours in the day to make it all happen. The truth is the truth. So, as we talk about your identity shifting, she ain't text you back. She ain't been able to give you a phone call. She ain't respond to that email. She's not checking the social media. Probably because her kid is tearing the house down. Can we be for real? Give mothers grace. The mother is always on top of the schedule. When does the baby have to go to the doctor? Doctor's appointments on certain times. What is the doctor's availability in comparison to hers and her, whether her partner, her child? I don't like the baby daddy. Her child's father. There's so much coordination and scheduling that has to go into making sure that the baby is catered to. Sometimes mothers lose themselves in motherhood. That's the truth. Because from the moment that mother wakes up, it's the baby this, the baby that, the baby needs this, the baby got to do that. Probably sometimes, to be honest, the mom probably forgot to brush her teeth, wash her face. Maybe she didn't even get to take a shower that day. Are you going to be honest? Oh, maybe not. When the newborn is born, I am pretty sure. No, as the baby gets old, let's pause for a moment. As the baby gets older, being a mother gets harder. I don't know who said, like, oh, as they grow up, it's gonna get easy. Easy. No, 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 no. When the baby is a newborn, he's lying there in the bassinet, barely moving. He'll probably, wiggle a little bit. As the baby gets older, baby starts crawling. You can't leave the baby in the bassinet unattended anymore. Then the baby starts to step. They're taking steps. They are now walking. They are standing up in the playpen and they are rocking it. The pack and play. They are rocking the pack and play. You cannot take your eyes off that child anymore. When you are changing the baby, they're doing a diaper change. Oh my gosh. The baby is reaching for every product that you have on that change table. I'm talking about the wipes, the powder, the diaper cream, the lotion, the hair oil, moisturizer, whatever it is that you're using. Whew, the baby doesn't even want to stay still for you to change their diaper. So, whoever said it gets easier as they get older, yeah, rubbish. Totally misguided. Not the truth. Take it from me as a first time mom. It gets harder because as the baby gets older, they require more attention. They require more from you. It takes more effort to keep them alive. Nobody's talking about that because they're tearing the house down. My kid, no, I need to stop saying kid. He's not even a year old yet. My baby is literally as tall as my coffee table. So you know what that means? My books, yeah, he's throwing those all over the place now. I have a flower, those decoration flowers, you put on your coffee table, make it look cutesy. Yeah, that's a no. He already done broke the vase. The candle, I love the Bath and Body Works candle. I love to light them around my house, the smell goods and stuff. Yeah, I can't do that anymore because he is exploring. He's at the age where he's touching everything. He does not know the difference between what's good, what's safe, and what's harmful and what's dangerous. And he quite literally doesn't care. At this age, he's just feeling and grabbing and touching and everything. And it gets so frustrating because you cannot take your eyes off them for not even a second. And if you do, your entire house is in chaos. Everything's broken everywhere. And you do not want to have a situation where whatever is broken cuts them or causes any problems or affects them in any way. It's like you always have to count to 10. You always have to take a deep breath because it requires that of you. What are you going to do? Lash out at the baby? Are you dumb? Are you dumb? The baby cannot understand at this age what the word no means. You say no, It does nothing for them because at this age, their mind is only focused on exploring everything around them. This is the first time baby. He ain't never been on earth before. What you thought? He wants to learn everything. And how does a baby learn? They learn by using their senses, touching and feeling and putting in their mouth and stepping. And that's how the baby learns. Now, when they become a toddler, they most definitely understand what no means. But we have to realize the age and stage that our baby is at, that our child is at, and we have to meet them there. And it takes so much. It takes everything in you to do just that. It takes a lot, which is why you constantly have to regulate your own emotions so that you do not take out your frustration on that child, that you do not trauma dump on that child because you were never extended such grace. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing what I am saying to you? It weighs heavy. Sometimes the baby is crying because they are in pain. Let's give an example of the baby teething. The baby is crying. There is nothing you can do because that teething pain where the tooth is erupting from the gum is excruciating. Yes, you rub the gels on it. Yes, you cool the toy and give them to chew to help. You try everything, but I'm telling you, you cannot get rid of the pain that they're feeling. You can only assist in trying to give them comfort. And that will have you crying real tears when you cannot do anything to stop the pain. It literally causes you pain. Yeah, that's part of motherhood. The baby's crying, you're crying, they are crying for minutes and minutes and minutes on end, and it won't stop, and you are literally out of your mind. Out of your mind. You don't even know what day it is. That is the ugly truth of it. When everybody comes to see the baby and they're like, oh, he got his two little front teeth. You don't know what it was like the night before for him to now have two teeth. Yeah, you don't know what that is like. So people show up and see, oh, the baby's doing so well, the baby's looking so healthy, but they don't know what mom had to endure for the baby to look this clean and look this polished and look this put together. You have no idea. You have no idea what it takes. I'm not talking about, oh, mama's gonna come through and flashy spend and oh, my kid got our Nike and the designer and the brands and the stuff. No, we're not talking about material things. We're talking about a child that is wholesomely able to show up. So when it comes to identity, there is a grieving process. You grieve who you once were. So when you were single, you have the pick of the litter. You got married. You were able to do and move as you liked. Now you have a baby, you're boxed in. You're more restricted, especially if you are a person, especially if you are a mom that does not have an active support system that is present with you constantly. You are going to feel restricted. You are going to feel boxed in. And all of that requires you to emotionally regulate and maneuver. Because if you don't, the overwhelming pressure is going to cause you to explode. And what we don't want is we do not want you to explode and that residue causes harm to your child. Loving your child does not negate from the fact that you are exhausted. You will be tired. That's part of the process. It's not a 2 hour shift, mama. It's not part-time employment where you clock in and clock out. As a mother, yeah, yeah, till the end, till the end of time, you're always going to be a mom, even after this child grows up, graduates, leaves your house, starts their own family. You are still going to always be a mom. And what does that mean? You don't have off days. You don't have a break. You don't get to stop ever loving and pouring into this child. Now, when we talk about not having a break, that part is so tricky because you can have support, but at the end of the day, they're not going to do it like you. And I think that part is a bit draining because if you have a support structure and you always have to go behind the support to pick up after them to still do the thing, is it really support? Is it really giving you a break? Because I mean, I still got to do it myself anyway. Ah, ah, ah. The truth is the truth. We have to create systems that work in the best interest of our child and of the mother. Otherwise, everything is just going to come crumbling down and no one is going to be happy. The baby's going to be miserable and uncomfortable, and you are going to be exhausted and frustrated because nothing is working in cohesion. You've got to work it out. You've got to find a system and a strategy that works for you. Some people utilize the daycare. I personally am not a fan. Too much stuff is going on down here in Florida. I am not trusting the daycare with my kid. That's my personal preference. You do you. Do what works for you. Some people use a nanny. Some people hire in house help and have a nanny to assist them. Some people rely on extended family. Whatever it is, build a system that supports you so that you can show up as your best self for your child. Both hands raised. Whatever trauma has been on you and your family, do not let that be passed down another generation to your child. Let it stop with you. Let it stop with you. So if you grew up in a toxic situation, if you grew up in a traumatic situation, if you grew up with it just all coming down to hell, make sure you create an environment that your child does not need to heal from. That is the win. That is the win. You create an environment that your child feels loved. They feel wholesome. They feel like they always want to be with mom and dad. Let them feel that sense of comfort, that sense of joy, that positive embrace. Oh my gosh. That that is what they need. So many of us have been robbed of our childhood, whether we had to grow up too fast, whether we were the older child and we had to sacrifice our childhood to then raise our parents' kids. Yeah, obviously that's our little brother or little sister, but that was not your job to be raising your parents' child. That was never your job as a child yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? There are so many aspects of our childhood that so many of us are still healing from today. At this big age, we are still healing from childhood wounds and childhood traumas. Do not let that be the story of your kid. You can change the cycle. You can change whatever it is that's going on with you. You can make that change. Heal, reparent yourself, and emotionally regulate. Because, mama, you're going to need it. You are going to need to work on you so that your child can be a wholesome, happy, thriving kid. And you owe it to them to give them a healthy environment. Oh my gosh. Y'all, as a first time mother, I am learning that being a good mother doesn't require me to disappear. It requires me to show up whole so I can be my best self for my baby. So I know I gave y'all a whole mouthful, but if this resonates with you, then go ahead. Click the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so you can stay tuned to more content just like this. I'm coming through. Is that good? Yeah, you can come. I need to grab his milk. The guy is sleepy. I'm trying to put him sleep. He fell asleep, but he wake up and like. I'm literally on my closing paragraph. Okay, so here's the bottle right here. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can just feed him while you're almost finished. Yeah, I'm on my closing paragraph. Because I have him sleep when he wake up. I'm assuming because it's I didn't give him milk. That's why he wake up. Okay, so press that. I'm just on my closing line. I've got my closing line right here. How's it sounding from up there? That's good. You everything's good. You know what I forgot? I forgot to put on my mic. Do the second part with mic. No, it's gonna sound crappy. Like some parts sound good and then some parts sound with the mic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, where's the rice? We don't have rice, babe. Like, do your thing. I'm trying to give him this snack because but this guy's talking with you like glue because he don't see you like. No, you guys can stay right there. Oh no, move out. Give you your voice. Move out. Give you your voice. But you can stay right there. I'm coming. I'm just doing this last piece. Okay. What was I saying again? Bye for now, y'all. I'll see you in my next one.